Today, we're digging into a really fascinating story. It's about a company that sells more collaborative robots in China than almost anyone else, and yet they barely make a profit. This is the story of JAKA Robotics, and their upcoming IPO is pulling back the curtain on this wild conflict between market dominance and financial reality.
Okay, so first things first, let's get on the same page about what we're talking about here. These aren't the giant, scary industrial robots you see in cages in old car factories. No, we're talking about cobots, or collaborative robots. These are machines literally designed to work side by side with people, becoming a direct part of the team.
So that brings us to the big question. JAKA Robotics is, without a doubt, a champion in its home market. They're about to go public, and they've already proven they can sell a ton of these robots. But for any investor looking at this, the real question is, can they actually make any money doing it?
All right, Section 1. Let's build the case for JAKA. We'll start with all the reasons why, on the surface, this company looks like an absolutely unstoppable force.
JAKA's grip on the world's most important manufacturing market is just undeniable. They have a massive 22% of China's entire cobot market, based on the number of units they sell. In a field this competitive and growing this fast, that is a truly dominant position to be.
And get this, it's not just a China story. On the world stage, JAKA is the #2 cobot seller on the entire planet. The only company ahead of them is Universal Robots, the folks who basically pioneered this industry. So yeah, JAKA is a legitimate global player.
And I mean, just look at who's buying their machines. The client list reads like a who's who of global manufacturing. When giants like Toyota and Schneider Electric are building your robots into their production lines, well, that's about the biggest vote of confidence you can get for your engineering and quality.
On top of all that, you've got these huge economic trends just pushing them forward. In China, labor is getting more expensive, and the government is making this massive push for what they call new industrialization. All of that is just pouring fuel on the fire for automation. JAKA is absolutely in the right place at the right time.
Okay, part 2. Let's talk about the cracks in the armor, because when you peel back that really impressive market story and you start looking at the actual numbers, the picture gets a whole lot murkier.
So in 2024, JAKA brought in almost 400 million yuan in revenue. That's a solid, respectable number. But their net profit on all of that business, a little over 6 million yuan. Honestly, if you take out a couple of one-time gains, the company is pretty much just breaking even, treading water.
So what's squeezing them so hard? Well, it's a price war, a brutal one. The entire Chinese cobot industry is just slashing prices to try and grab market share. So even though JAKA is selling more and more robots, the average price they're getting for each one is dropping like a rock. And that's absolutely crushing their ability to make a profit.
And that price war gets compounded by everything else. To stay on top, you have to pour money into research and development. And to keep growing, you have to spend a fortune on sales and marketing. When you add all that up, you're left with these razor-thin operating margins.
But wait, there's one more layer of risk we need to talk about: customer concentration. You see, a really significant chunk of JAKA's revenue comes from just a small number of very large customers. This makes their business pretty vulnerable. I mean, if just one of those big accounts decides to delay an order, it could have a huge impact on their whole quarter. Okay, Section 3. This all brings us to the IPO itself. And you have to understand, this isn't some victory lap for them. It's a high-stakes, high-reward bet on the company's entire future.
So, the plan is to raise a ton of money, up to 700 million yuan, to build out more production and fund even more R&D. But, and this is a big but, there's another crucial goal here: providing an exit. You've got big-name early investors like SoftBank who need to see a return on their money. This IPO is their clearest way to cash out, which means the pressure on JAKA to deliver is just immense.
So here it is, the classic investor's dilemma. On one hand, you've got a clear market leader with huge customers and powerful economic trends at its back. On the other hand, you've got this brutal margin compression, the risk of building out too much capacity, and a heavy reliance on just a few key clients. It's a real balancing act.
In the end, the entire challenge facing JAKA is captured perfectly by this idea. In this sector, being a leader in shipped units is not enough. Leadership and profitable growth is what will determine who survives. JAKA has already proven to the world they can build and sell world-class robots. Now, the public markets are going to demand they prove it can be a world-class business. Their real test is just beginning.